Captain Lee Dong-wook stood on the bridge of the Soul's Pride, watching Earth spin slowly below. The blue and white planet looked peaceful from space. Cities glowed like tiny lights across the dark side. Lee had been born in one of those cities. Seoul, the capital of Korea, where his grandmother still lived in the same apartment where she had raised him. The Soul's Pride was humanity's most advanced spaceship. It could travel to the edge of the solar system in just 3 months. The Ya ship carried weapons that could destroy asteroids and shields that could stop small meteors. Lee was proud to command it. He was the youngest captain in the Earth Space Force, only 32 years old. His communications officer, Yoon So-ra, sat at her station checking radio signals from across the galaxy. Most days, she heard nothing but empty space noise. Sometimes, they picked up strange signals from far away, but no one could understand them. Earth had been sending radio messages to the stars for over a century, hoping to find other intelligent life. So far, no one had answered back. "Captain," So-ra said suddenly, "I'm getting something strange. It's not from our solar system." Lee walked over to her station. "What kind of signal?" "It's organized. Mathematical patterns. Like someone is trying to talk to us." Lee felt his heart beat faster. First contact with aliens. Every human had dreamed of this moment. "Can you decode it?" So-ra worked at her computer for several minutes. Her face grew pale. "Sir, I think they're talking. About us, about Earth, but the message sounds angry." Before Lee could ask more questions, alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Red lights flashed on every wall. Lee ran back to his captain's chair and pressed the emergency communication button. "This is Earth Command," came a voice from the speakers. "All ships return to Earth immediately. We are under attack. Repeat, Earth is under attack." Lee looked at the main screen. Earth still looked peaceful below them. Then he saw them. Dark shapes moving against the stars. Ships. Alien ships. They were huge, each one bigger than Earth's largest city. Their hulls were black and covered with strange patterns that seemed to move in the light. "Captain," his weapons officer called out. "Those ships are charging energy weapons. They're aiming at Earth." Lee felt cold fear in his stomach. "Can we stop them?" "Sir, our weapons are too small. Those ships are massive." The alien ships moved into position above Earth. Bright energy built up on their undersides. Lee could see the power growing, getting ready to fire. "So-ra, open all communication channels," Lee ordered. "Broadcast on every frequency. Tell them we surrender. Tell them we want to talk." So-ra's fingers flew over her controls. "Broadcasting now, sir." The alien ships did not respond. The energy weapons reached full power. "All ships," Lee called to the other Earth vessels nearby. "Emergency evacuation of the planet. Get as many people off as possible." But it was too late. Beams of pure energy shot down from the alien ships. They struck 3 points on Earth's surface: New York, London, Tokyo. The cities vanished in brilliant flashes of light, where millions of people had lived just seconds before. Now there were only glowing craters. Lee stared at the screen in horror. 50 million people had just died. In his mind, he could see his grandmother's apartment building in Seoul. Was she looking up at the sky, wondering what those bright lights were? The alien ships stopped firing. One of them sent a message. The Universal Translator on Earth Command picked it up and broadcast it to all human ships. "Primitive Species 47C, the message said. The voice was cold and emotionless. "You have expanded beyond your home system. This is not permitted. Cease your expansion or face complete extinction. This was your first and only warning. Return to your planet and stay there. We are the galactic hegemony. We control this part of space. You will obey." Lee felt anger burning in his chest. They had just murdered 50 million innocent people, children, families, old people like his grandmother, and they called it a warning. Admiral Kim Tae-young's voice came over the communication system. He was the leader of Earth's military forces. His voice was calm, but Lee could hear the rage underneath. "This is Admiral Kim Tae-young of Earth," he said, "broadcasting to all alien vessels and anyone else listening. You have attacked our world without warning. You have killed our people without cause. We do not accept your authority over human space." Lee listened as his admiral continued. The man's voice grew stronger with each word. "You want to know what humanity thinks of your warning? Here is our answer. You have killed our people without provocation. Strike again and be wiped from existence. This is Earth's last warning." The alien ships did not respond immediately. Then Lee heard something that chilled his blood. Laughter. The aliens were laughing. "Species 47C thinks it can threaten us," came the alien voice. "You have no faster-than-light travel. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are slow and weak. We have destroyed civilizations 1,000 times more advanced than yours. What could you possibly do to us?" The alien ships began to move away from Earth, but Lee knew they would be back. The Galactic Hegemony thought humans were just another weak species to push around. They had made their first mistake. Lee opened a private communication channel to Admiral Kim. "Sir, what are your orders?" "Captain Lee, how long until those alien ships leave our solar system?" Lee checked his sensors. "About 6 hours, sir." "Good. That gives us time to implement Operation Ghost Protocol. You've been briefed on the project?" Lee had heard rumors, secret weapons, hidden ships, plans that only a few people knew about. "Only basic information, sir." "Then listen carefully, Captain. For the past 20 years, Earth has been preparing for this day. We hoped it would never come, but we knew it might. Dr. Park Hae-jin and her team have been working on something special, something the aliens will never expect." "What kind of weapons, sir?" Admiral Kim was quiet for a moment. "Not weapons, Captain. Something much more dangerous than weapons. We've been preparing to show the galaxy what humans do when someone threatens our families." Lee looked down at Earth. Smoke was still rising from the 3 crater sites. In a few hours, the news would spread. Every human would know that aliens had attacked them. Every human would know that 50 million of their people were dead. "Sir, what do you need me to do?" "Take the Soul's Pride to the asteroid belt." "Commander, Choi Min-ho is waiting there with a fleet you've never seen before, ships that don't look like anything in our military. Tell him it's time to show these aliens what human creativity looks like when we're angry." Lee felt a cold smile cross his face. "Yes, sir." As the Soul's Pride turned away from Earth, Lee took one last look at his home planet. The aliens thought they had given humans a warning. They thought they had shown their power. They had no idea what was coming for them. In the asteroid belt, hidden among the rocks and ice, ships were waiting. Strange ships built in secret. Ships that would teach the Galactic Hegemony why you should never threaten humanity's home. The aliens had made their first and last mistake. They had underestimated the human spirit. Soon they would learn the price of that mistake. The asteroid belt looked empty to most eyes. Just rocks and ice floating in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. But Captain Lee Dong-wook knew better. His sensors showed heat signatures hidden behind the larger asteroids. Ships were waiting. There. Commander Choi Min-ho met Lee at the airlock of a mining station that had been converted into a military base. Choi was older than Lee, maybe 45, with scars on his hands from years of working in space. He had been building this secret fleet for 10 years. "Captain Lee," Choi said, shaking his hand, "I heard about Earth. I'm sorry for the losses." Lee nodded. The news had spread quickly. 50 million dead. 3 cities gone. Every human in the solar system now knew they were at war. "Admiral Kim said you have ships here. Something the aliens won't expect." Choi smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "Come with me. Let me show you what human anger looks like when we have time to prepare." They took a small shuttle to the first ship. Lee expected to see something like the Soul's Pride. Clean lines, smooth hull, modern weapons. Instead, he saw something that looked like it had been built in a junkyard. The ship was huge, bigger than any human vessel Lee had ever seen. But it was ugly. Parts of it looked like they came from mining equipment. Other sections were clearly from construction ships. Weapons stuck out at odd angles. The hull was covered in patches and welds. "What is this?" Lee asked. "This is the Kim Il-sung," Choi said, "named after a Korean leader from centuries ago. She's our first battleship, built from scratch using mining equipment and construction tools." Engineer Nam Ji-soo joined them as they toured the ship. She was young, maybe 28, with oil, stains on her uniform, and excitement in her eyes. "We didn't try to copy alien technology," she explained as they walked through the ship. "We don't understand their science yet. Instead, we took human technology and made it work better." She showed them the weapons. "These used to be asteroid mining charges. We modified them to work as missiles. These beam weapons? They're cutting tools from shipyards, but we boosted their power by 300%. Lee stared at the weapons. They looked dangerous, but also completely crazy. "Do they actually work?" "Better than work," Nam Ji-soo said proudly. "They work in ways the aliens will never predict. Their battle computers try to calculate what enemies will do. But how do you calculate crazy?" Lieutenant Colonel Kang Woo-jin met them in the command center. He was the tactical genius behind Earth's new strategy. His uniform was clean, but his eyes showed he hadn't slept much recently. "Captain Lee," Kang said, "I've been studying the alien attack on Earth. Their ships moved in perfect formation. Their weapons fired in precise patterns. Everything calculated for maximum efficiency." "That sounds dangerous," Lee said. "It is dangerous, but it's also predictable. They fight like computers. Perfect logic, perfect timing, perfect strategy." Kang pulled up displays showing ship movements. "But humans don't fight like computers. We fight like survivors." Choi led them to the observation deck. Through the windows, Lee could see more ships, dozens of them. Each one looked different. Some were converted mining vessels with massive engines. Others were construction ships turned into fighters. A few looked like they had been built from scratch, using parts from 100 different sources. "How many ships do you have?" Lee asked. 67 combat vessels," Choi answered. "Each one unique, each one designed to be unpredictable." 67 ships against the entire galactic hegemony? Choi's smile got wider. "That's more than we need." Dr. Park Hye-jin joined them on the observation deck. She was the scientist behind the Ghost Protocol project. Her gray hair and serious expression made her look like someone's grandmother, but Lee could see the intelligence burning in her eyes. "Captain Lee," she said, "what do you know about human psychology?" "I'm not sure I understand. Humans evolved on a dangerous planet. We survived ice ages, predators, diseases, natural disasters. We learned to adapt quickly. We learned to think of solutions that other species would never consider." She gestured toward the ships outside. "These vessels represent 20 years of human creativity applied to warfare, not advanced technology, but advanced thinking." Lee watched as one of the ships moved past the window. It looked like someone had attached weapons to a cargo hauler and covered the whole thing in armor. Plating. It should have looked ridiculous. Instead, it looked terrifying. "The aliens think in patterns," Dr. Park continued. "They build perfect ships for perfect battles. But humans think in chaos. We build ships that work even when everything goes wrong." A communication came in from Earth Command. Admiral Kim Tae-young's voice filled the command center. "All units, we have received intelligence reports. The Galactic Hegemony is sending a larger fleet to Earth. They want to finish what they started. Estimated arrival time, 72 hours. Lee felt his stomach tighten. "How big is this fleet?" 12 capital ships, 40 escorts, full battle complement. They're bringing enough firepower to crack Earth's crust. Commander Choi looked around at his officers. "Are we ready?" "Ready, sir," came the responses from around the room. "Captain Lee," Admiral Kim's voice continued over the communication. "You will coordinate with Commander Choi. Show these aliens what happens when they threaten human families." The next 72 hours passed quickly. Lee learned how the Ghost Protocol fleet operated. Nothing was standard. Each ship had its own weapons, its own tactics, its own way of fighting. Pilots trained to work together without formal coordination. Engineers prepared weapons that broke every rule of space combat. Nam Ji-soo showed Lee her latest creation, modified mining mechs that could operate in space. "The aliens will expect fighters and missiles," she explained. "They won't expect construction." Equipment shooting at them. Lieutenant Colonel Kang briefed the pilots on their battle plan. "We don't have a battle plan," he said. "That's our battle plan. Each ship fights independently. Make decisions based on what you see. Trust your instincts. Be human." When the alien fleet arrived at Earth, they came in perfect formation. 12 massive warships surrounded by 40 smaller vessels. Their hulls gleamed in the sunlight. Their weapons were sleek and powerful. They moved like they were performing a dance. Admiral Kim Tae-young broadcast the same message as before. "Strike again, and be wiped from existence. This is Earth's last warning." The alien commander responded immediately. "Species 47C, you had your chance. Now you will be eliminated completely. Your resistance is futile. Your technology is primitive. Surrender now and some of your population may be spared as slaves." The alien ships began moving toward Earth. Their energy weapons started. Charging. That's when Commander Choi gave the order. "Ghost Protocol Fleet, this is Commander Choi. Remember our dead. Remember our cities. Show them what human creativity looks like. Attack." The human ships came out of the asteroid belt like a swarm of angry hornets. They didn't move in formation. They didn't follow patterns. Some came fast, some came slow, some attacked directly, others circled around. The alien battle computers had never seen anything like it. Lee watched from the Soul's Pride as the first human ship reached the alien fleet. It was a converted mining vessel called the Busan Fighter. Instead of firing traditional weapons, it launched a cloud of modified asteroid mining charges. The alien point defense systems tried to stop the charges, but there were too many of them. The charges hit the alien ship's shields in a random pattern. The shields, designed to stop organized attacks, couldn't handle the chaos. When the shields failed, the mining charges stuck to the alien hull and exploded. The massive alien warship shuddered and began venting atmosphere. More human ships reached the alien fleet. They attacked from every angle using weapons no alien computer could predict. Construction mechs grabbed onto alien hulls and began cutting through armor with industrial tools. Cargo ships rammed alien vessels at high speed. Mining ships used their rock crushers as weapons. The aliens tried to fight back, but their perfect tactics couldn't handle human chaos. Their weapons were designed for ship-to-ship combat, not for dealing with construction equipment and mining tools attacking at close range. Within 2 hours, the alien fleet was destroyed. Not one human ship was lost. Lee stared at the wreckage, floating in space. 12 alien capital ships, reduced to scrap metal by human ingenuity and human anger. Commander Choi's voice came over the communication system. "All ships, prepare for Phase 2. Time to take this fight to the enemy." The aliens had wanted to teach humanity a lesson. Instead, they had learned one themselves. Never underestimate a species that survived by thinking outside the rules. News traveled fast across the galaxy. Within days, every civilized world knew what had happened at Earth. The humans, those primitive species that barely had space travel, had destroyed an entire Vorthak battle fleet. It was impossible. It was unthinkable. It was true. Ambassador Lim Soo-jin had never expected to become Earth's first galactic diplomat. 3 weeks ago, she had been working at the Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs, dealing with trade agreements and visa applications. Now she sat in a captured alien ship, preparing to meet with representatives from 12 different species. The ship itself was proof of human adaptability. Engineer Nam Ji-soo had spent 2 weeks figuring out how alien technology worked, then improving it with human modifications. The result was a vessel that could travel between star systems, something humanity had never done before. "Ambassador," her aide called from the communication station. "We're receiving a message from the Keltharian Empire. They want to meet." Lim nodded. The Kelthari were one of the species that had been forced to join the Galactic Hegemony 50 years ago. Their homeworld was rich in rare metals, but their people had always been more interested in art and philosophy than warfare. The Vorthak had conquered them easily. "Set up the meeting," Lim said. "But keep it secret. If the Vorthak find out, they'll destroy the Keltharian homeworld." General Bae Hyun-woo joined her in the meeting room. He was Earth's new military coordinator for alien affairs. His job was to understand how galactic warfare worked and how humanity could use it to their advantage. "What do we know about the Kelthari?" he asked. Dr. Oh Young-mi, Earth's first xenobiologist, pulled up files on her computer. "They're peaceful by nature, artists, poets, philosophers. The Vorthak use them as slave labor in their mines. They've been waiting for someone to challenge Vorthak power for decades." The meeting took place in neutral space, halfway between Earth and the Keltharian system. The alien ship that met them was beautiful in a way that human vessels weren't. Smooth curves, elegant lines, decorated with patterns that looked like flowing water. Ambassador Kethlar represented the Keltharian government. He was tall and thin, with blue-gray skin and large eyes that seemed to see everything. When he spoke, his voice sounded like music. "Ambassador Lim," he said through the universal translator. "My people have heard what humans did to the Vorthak fleet. We find it encouraging." "We didn't attack them for conquest," Lim replied carefully. "We defended ourselves. Yes, that is what makes it so interesting. The Vorthak have ruled this part of the galaxy for 300 years. No one has successfully challenged them before." General Bae leaned forward. "What can you tell us about their military capabilities?" Kethlar shared data files with them. "The Vorthak Empire controls 47 star systems. They have over 2,000 warships. Their technology is advanced. Their tactics are proven. They have conquered every species they have encountered." "Every species except us," Dr. O said. Quietly, exactly. "And that is why my people are interested in an alliance. Not because we want to fight, but because we want to be free." The meeting continued for hours. Kethlar explained how the Galactic Hegemony worked. The Vorthak were the leaders, but they controlled 11 other species through fear and superior technology. Most of these species had been conquered, not convinced to join. "Many of our worlds would support you," Kethlar said, "but only if you can prove that the Vorthak can be defeated. One victory is impressive, but the hegemony has thousands of ships." Back on Earth, the news was not good. Long-range sensors had detected massive fleet movements. The Vorthak were gathering their allies. 3 other species were sending their own warships to join the attack on humanity. Admiral Kim Tae-young called an emergency meeting of Earth's military leadership. Captain Lee Dong-wook attended by video link from the Soul's Pride, now patrolling the outer solar system. "Intelligence reports indicate an enormous fleet heading our way," the Admiral said. 4 species, over 100 ships, enough firepower to destroy our entire planet several times over. Commander Choi Min-ho spoke from the asteroid belt. "How long do we have?" 6 weeks, maybe less. Engineer Nam Ji-soo had been working non-stop since the last battle. "I've been studying the captured alien technology. Their ships are more advanced than ours, but they're also more complicated. Too many systems, too many safeguards. They're built for perfect conditions." "What does that mean?" Admiral Kim asked. "It means they break easily when things go wrong." and we're very good at making things go wrong. Dr. Park Hya-jin had been analyzing the alien battle tactics. I've identified their weakness. They fight like they're playing chess. Every move calculated, every response planned in advance. But humans fight like we're in a street fight. No rules, just survival. General Bay reported from his meeting with the Kelthari. We have potential allies, but they won't help us unless we can prove we can win. They've been slaves for too long to risk another failed rebellion. Admiral Kim stood up and looked at the map of local space. Then we don't wait for them to attack Earth. We take the fight to them. The room fell silent. Attack an alien fleet with Earth's small navy? It sounded like suicide. Sir, Captain Lee said over the video link, their fleet outnumbers us 20 to 1? Yes. But they're expecting us to defend Earth. They're not expecting us to attack them in interstellar space. Commander Choi smiled. Hit them when they're not ready. I like it. Engineer Nam Ji-soo started calculating. I can modify our ships for long-range operation, strip out everything we don't need, add extra fuel and supplies. We won't be coming back to Earth for resupply. How many ships can we field? Admiral, Kim asked. 97 combat vessels, including the captured alien ships we've repaired, against over 100 enemy ships. Sir, Lieutenant Colonel Kang Woo-jin spoke up. Numbers don't matter if the enemy can't predict what we're going to do. Their advantage is technology and coordination. Our advantage is chaos and creativity. Dr. Oh Young-mi had been studying alien psychology. There's something else. The Vorthak have never faced serious resistance before. They're used to easy victories against weaker opponents. They've never had to deal with an enemy that fights. Back effectively. Admiral Kim made his decision. We attack. Commander Choi, prepare the fleet for deep space operations. Ambassador Lim, send a message to our potential allies. Tell them to watch the battle. If we win, they'll know humans can be trusted as partners. The next 6 weeks were the busiest in human history. Every shipyard in the solar system worked, around the clock. Mining ships were converted to carriers. Cargo vessels became supply ships. Even civilian spacecraft were modified with weapons and armor. Nam Ji-soo created new weapons that no alien had ever seen. Kinetic harpoons that could punch through energy shields. Swarm missiles that attacked from multiple directions. Electronic warfare systems designed to confuse alien computers. Captain Lee took the Soul's pride on long-range patrols, mapping the enemy fleet's approach. They were coming in perfect formation, just as expected. 4 different species, each with their own ship designs, but all following the same tactical doctrine. They're making it easy for us, Lee reported to Admiral Kim. Flying in a straight line, maintaining formation, following all the rules of galactic warfare. Good. Let's show them what happens when someone doesn't follow the rules. The human fleet departed Earth on a Tuesday morning. 97 ships of every size and shape, heading into deep space to face an enemy that had conquered half the galaxy. As they left Earth's orbit, every human on the planet watched the sky and wished them luck. Ambassador Lim broadcast a message to the alien fleets. This is Ambassador Lim Soo-jin of Earth. You are approaching our home system with hostile intent. Turn back now, or face the consequences. The Vorthak commander's reply came quickly. Species 47C, your resistance ends today. Your primitive ships will be destroyed. Your planet will be conquered. Your people will serve as slaves. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Admiral Kim's response was broadcast across the galaxy. This is Admiral Kim Tae-young of the Terran Defense Force. You were warned. Now face the consequences. The 2 fleets met in the darkness between stars, where the only light came from distant suns. The alien formation was perfect, a wall of ships advancing in precise coordination. The human fleet looked like a scattered mob, approaching from multiple directions with no apparent plan. The aliens' mistake was thinking that chaos meant weakness. They were about to learn that for humans, chaos was just another weapon. The battle began at 14:23 Earth Standard Time. The alien fleet opened fire first, their energy weapons creating beautiful streams of light across the darkness of space. Their targeting systems were perfect, their timing was precise, their formation was flawless. None of it mattered. The human ships scattered like leaves in a hurricane. Instead of meeting the alien charge head-on, they broke apart into dozens of smaller groups. Some ships accelerated toward the enemy, others turned away as if retreating. A few seemed to stop moving entirely. Captain Yu-J Hyuk commanded the Inchin's Revenge, a converted cargo hauler that now carried more weapons than some alien battleships. He watched the enemy formation on his screens and smiled. "Weapons ready," he called to his crew. "Remember, we're not trying to fight fair, we're trying to win." The alien battle computers tried to track the human ships, but the chaotic movement patterns made no sense. Every time the computers predicted where a human ship would go, it went somewhere else. The aliens had programmed their systems for logical enemies, not for humans. Commander Choi Min-ho led the first attack wave in the Kim Il-sung. His target was the largest alien ship, a Vorthak dreadnought that was twice the size of any human vessel. Instead of attacking it directly, he aimed for the smaller ships around it. "All units, execute Maneuver 7, he broadcast on a coded channel. Maneuver 7 didn't exist in any military manual. It was something the human pilots had invented during training. 3 ships would attack from different angles while broadcasting false radio signals to confuse enemy sensors. Meanwhile, other ships would use mining equipment to launch clouds of metal debris. The alien point defense systems tried to stop the attack, but they were designed to handle missiles and energy beams, not chunks of asteroid ore flying at high speed. The debris cloud hit the alien formation like a shotgun blast, damaging sensors and disabling weapons. Colonel Song Mi-young commanded a squadron of modified fighters that had been built from mining mechs. Her ships were small and fast, perfect for getting close to enemy vessels. But instead of using traditional fighter tactics, she had trained her pilots to board enemy ships. "Squadron 7, prepare for boarding operations," she ordered. Her fighters moved through the debris cloud, using the confusion to get close to alien ships. When they reached their targets, the pilots didn't shoot at the hulls. Instead, they used industrial cutting tools to slice through airlock doors. The aliens had never faced boarding attacks in space. Their ships were designed to fight at long range, not to repel invaders who cut their way inside. Song's Marines moved through alien corridors like they were clearing buildings in urban warfare, something humans had been doing for thousands of years. Captain Lee Dong-wook brought the souls, pride against a group of alien cruisers. His ship was faster than anything the aliens had, but it was also smaller. He couldn't win in a straight fight, so he didn't fight straight. "Engineering, prepare to vent atmosphere on my command," he ordered. "Sir, that will depressurize half the ship," his chief engineer replied. "I know. Trust me." Lee flew the Soul's Pride directly at the alien cruisers, then at the last second vented the ship's atmosphere through emergency ports. The cloud of gas and debris made his ship nearly invisible to alien sensors. The enemy weapons fired at where they thought he was, but hit empty space instead. While the aliens were confused, Lee fired his entire missile load at point-blank range. The alien shields couldn't stop attacks from inside their defensive perimeter. 3 cruisers exploded in seconds. Engineer Nam Ji-soo had spent weeks preparing a special surprise for the enemy. Her ships carried modified industrial equipment that could create artificial gravity fields. When activated near alien vessels, the gravity generators caused massive structural stress. "Gravity mines deployed," she reported from her command ship. The Daegu's Hope. The invisible mines drifted toward the alien fleet. When they activated, several enemy ships simply broke apart under forces their hulls weren't designed to handle. The aliens had never seen weapons like this because no sane engineer would turn construction equipment into instruments of war. But humans had learned long ago that sanity was a luxury they couldn't afford. Commander Park Sung-ho had the most dangerous, job in the fleet. He was leading a group of captured alien ships that had been repaired and modified with human technology. His mission was to get close to the enemy command vessel and capture it intact. The alien ships looked identical to the enemy vessels, so Park's squadron was able to approach without being fired upon. The enemy assumed they were reinforcements, arriving to help with the battle. "Boarding teams, prepare for assault," Park ordered. When his ships reached the alien flagship, they didn't announce themselves. They simply attached to the hull and began cutting their way inside. By the time the aliens realized what was happening, human Marines were already fighting their way to the bridge. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the combined alien fleet had been completely destroyed or captured. Over 100 ships, reduced to wreckage and prisoners. The humans had lost only 3 vessels, and 2 of those had been evacuated before they exploded. The galaxy watched in shocked silence as the humans broadcast the results of the battle. Every civilized world received the same message, transmitted on all frequencies. "This is Admiral Kim Tae-young of Earth," the message said. "The Galactic Hegemony sent 4 fleets to destroy humanity. Those fleets no longer exist. We now control over 30 captured alien vessels, including their most advanced technology." The message continued. "We offer the same choice to every world in this galaxy. Join us as equals, or stand aside. But if you threaten innocent people, if you attack those who cannot defend themselves, you will face the same fate as these fleets." Captain, Yoo Jae-hyuk had captured the alien flagship, a massive Vorthak dreadnought called the Star Crusher. The ship was 3 times larger than anything humans had ever built, armed with weapons that could destroy planets. "Captain," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving surrender requests from 17 alien species. They want to join our alliance." Yu studied the list of names. Most were species that had been conquered by the Vorthak decades or centuries ago. They had been waiting for someone strong enough to challenge the hegemony. "Send them our terms," he said. "Equal partnership, no slavery, no oppression. Tell them we fight for freedom, not conquest." Colonel Song Mi-young's Marines had captured hundreds of alien prisoners. Most were ordinary soldiers who had been forced to fight for the hegemony, but some were volunteers, true believers in Vorthak superiority. "What do we do with them?" her sergeant asked. Song looked at the prisoners. Some seemed afraid. Others appeared defiant. All of them had believed the Vorthak were invincible. "The ones who were forced to fight get offered a choice," she said. "Join us or go home. The ones who chose to serve the hegemony, they get to see what defeat looks like." News of the human victory spread across the galaxy faster than the speed of light. On dozens of worlds, oppressed populations began to rise up against their Vorthak governors. The galactic hegemony, which had seemed unshakable just days before, began to crumble. Ambassador Lim Soo-jin received diplomatic messages from 43 different species. Some wanted to join the human alliance immediately. Others offered information about Vorthak military bases and supply lines. A few wanted to negotiate separate peace treaties. "We're not ready to govern a galactic alliance," she told Admiral Kim during their strategy meeting. "Then we don't govern it," the Admiral replied. "We coordinate it. Big difference. Let each species handle their own affairs. We just make sure no one gets conquered or enslaved." Dr. Oh Young-mi had been studying the captured alien technology. "This is remarkable," she told the science team. "Their ships are incredibly advanced, but they're also incredibly specialized. Each vessel is designed for one specific purpose." "Is that bad?" Lee asked. "It's inflexible. When humans build ships, we make them adaptable. We can modify a cargo, haul her into a warship, or turn a mining ship into a carrier. The aliens can't do that. Their technology is too perfect, too refined. It can't be changed easily." Engineer Nam Ji-soo had different concerns. "We need to be careful with their weapons. Some of this technology could destroy entire star systems if used incorrectly. Admiral Kim nodded. Then we make sure it's not used incorrectly. We're not the galactic hegemony. We don't rule through fear. Captain Lee brought the Soul's Pride back to Earth orbit. Below him, the planet still showed scars from the alien attack. 3 cities were gone. 50 million people were dead. But humanity was no longer the victim. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're receiving a message from the Vorthak homeworld. They want to negotiate." Lee smiled. "Tell them to send their terms to Admiral Kim and remind them that we're the ones who won this war." The message from the Vorthak Emperor arrived 6 hours later. It was not what anyone expected. "Species 47C," the message began. "We acknowledge your victory. We offer the surrender of the Vorthak Empire. Our fleets will stand down. Our worlds will submit to your authority. We ask only that our people be spared." Admiral Kim studied the message for a long time before responding. "Emperor of the Vorthak," he said into the recording device, "we do not want your surrender. We want your partnership." Captain Lee Dae-ho watched the stars through his cargo ship's window. 300 years had passed since humans were allowed to fight in wars. 300 long years of peace that felt more like a prison sentence. His ship carried grain and medical supplies to the outer colonies. It was honest work, but boring. Sometimes Dae-ho remembered the old stories his grandfather told him. Stories about when humans were warriors who could shake the galaxy with their battles. Now they were farmers and doctors, nothing more. The radio crackled to life. "All ships, this is New Sol Colony. We are under attack. Please help us." Dae-ho's hands moved to the weapon controls before he stopped himself. The Treaty of Eternal Peace was clear. Humans could not fight. They could not even carry weapons on their ships. The Galactic Council watched everything they did. "New Sol Colony, this is Captain Lee. I'm coming to help with medical supplies," he said into the radio. "No, Captain Lee, you don't understand. They're killing everyone. We need fighters, not doctors." Dae-ho closed his eyes. The voice belonged to his friend Kim Subin, who ran the colony's farms. Subin had a wife and 2 young children. "I'm sorry, Subin. I can't fight. You know the rules." The radio went quiet. Then came the sounds of explosions and screaming. After 10 minutes, everything went silent. Dae-ho arrived at New Sol Colony 6 hours later. The Zephyrian Empire ships were gone, but they had left their mark. Buildings burned across the settlement. Bodies lay in the streets. Men, women, children, all dead. He found Subin's family in their home. They had tried to hide in the basement, but the Zephyrians had found them anyway. Dae-ho knelt beside his friend's body and felt something break inside his chest. On Earth, Dr. Park So-jin worked late in her laboratory. She studied alien biology, but her real interest was in how different species fought wars. The Galactic Council thought she was working on medicine. They were wrong. So-jin had spent years collecting data about every major war in the galaxy. She wanted to understand why humans were banned from fighting. The official story was that humans were too cruel, too violent, but the numbers didn't match that story. She pulled up files on her computer screen. The Human-Vrex War of 2087, the last time humans fought in space. According to the records, humans had won every major battle, but they hadn't acted like cruel monsters. They had shown mercy to prisoners. They had helped rebuild destroyed worlds. They had even made friends with some of their enemies. So why did every alien species in the galaxy fear them so much? So-jin found her answer in a buried report from the Vrex High Command. The report was written after the war ended. It said something that made her blood run cold. The humans do not fight like us. They do not seek to destroy their enemies. They seek to understand them. They learn how we think, how we move, how we plan. Then they use that knowledge against us. Worse, they make us want to join them. Half our fleet defected to the human side by the end of the war. We did not lose because they were stronger. We lost because they were smarter. So, Jin sat back in her chair. The galaxy hadn't banned humans for being monsters. They had banned humans for being too good at war. Across the city, Commander Kim Tae-min met with his resistance cell in an old subway tunnel. 12 people sat around a metal table. They were teachers, engineers, shop owners, normal people who were tired of being helpless. The attack on New Sol Colony was the 5th this month, Tae-min said. The Zephyrians know we can't fight back. They're getting bolder. What can we do? Asked Yoon Mi-rae, a former intelligence officer. The Council has sensors everywhere. They'll know if we try to build weapons. Maybe we don't need to build new weapons, said Park Sung-ho, an old mechanic. Maybe we need to remember old ones. Tae-min smiled. Sung-ho was right. During the 300 years of peace, humans had built things, ships, tools, factories. The Council thought it was all peaceful technology. They were only half right. Mi-rae, I need you to contact the Kethvar Collective, Tae-min said. They fought alongside us in the old war. Maybe they remember what we were like. The Kethvar? Mi-rae looked surprised. They barely talk to anyone anymore. They'll talk to us. They have to. The Zephyrians are moving toward their space, too. That night. Daeho sat in his ship and stared at a photo of Su-bin's family. His hands shook with anger. The Treaty of Eternal Peace had protected no one. It had only made humans into easy targets. He opened a secure communication channel and sent a message to an old military frequency. He didn't know if anyone would answer. Most of the old soldiers were dead or sleeping in cryogenic chambers. To his surprise, someone responded within an hour. This is General Nam Ki-tai. I've been waiting for this call for 300 years. General, this is Captain Lee Daeho. The Zephyrians just destroyed New Sol Colony. We couldn't fight back. I know, son. I've been watching. The question is, are you ready to break a 300-year-old promise? Daeho thought about Su-bin's children, about all the colonies that would burn while humans stood by and watched. Yes, sir. I'm ready. Meanwhile, So-jin made a discovery that changed everything. Hidden in the old war records was a single line that had been overlooked for centuries. It was written by Council Speaker Morden, the alien who had proposed the Treaty of Eternal Peace. We must ban humans from war not because they are monsters, but because they make monsters into friends. So-jin understood now. The galaxy feared humans not for their weapons or their cruelty. They feared human ability to turn enemies into allies. In every war humans fought, they ended up with more friends than enemies. They didn't just win battles. They won hearts and minds. The ban on human warfare wasn't about protecting the galaxy from human violence. It was about protecting other species from human influence. The Council had seen what happened when humans were allowed to fight freely. They saw entire civilizations change for the better after meeting human warriors. So-jin sent her research to Tae-min's resistance cell. Within hours, copies spread to every human colony in the galaxy. For the first time in 3 centuries, humans understood their own history. As dawn broke over Earth, emergency meetings began in government buildings around the planet. The Zephyrian Empire was growing stronger. More colonies would die. And for the first time since the Treaty of Eternal Peace, humans were talking about going to war. In his underground hideout, Tae-min received a message from the Kethvar Collective. It was short but clear. We remember. We are ready to stand with humanity again. The silence was breaking. After 300 years, the galaxy was about to remember why humans had been banned from war. And this time, humans had learned new lessons during their centuries of forced peace. They had grown stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever before. Daeho looked at the stars again, but this time he wasn't thinking about grain shipments or medical supplies. He was thinking about Su-bin's family and all the people who would die if nothing changed. The age of human peace was ending. The galaxy would soon learn what 3 centuries of silence had taught the most dangerous species in the universe.